Okay, so this was a very hard video to make. The main reason being that I've never sat in a single vehicle in this entire game and thought, nah, I don't like it. Looks like self-propelled cat food, flies like scrambled rat. It's just something that's never happened. Even with the bigger, slower turning ships like the Starfarer, I really enjoy the challenge of getting those horizontally challenged asses into position. But I have noticed that I do tend to gravitate back to certain ships. So we could have went about this video in several ways. I could just go through a big list of my favourite ships, and granted, I'd be able to justify quite a lot of them based on their actual merits, but really they are my favourite because I just enjoy flying them the most. I have certain feelings attached to them, their flight characteristics, and their interiors and stuff. However, by the end, I know for a fact that most of the justifications would start to sound something like, look at it, just look at it, it's so cool and awesome.
Oh, would you look at this?
And although I'd like nothing better than to wax lyrical about what pleases me most about the 325's food processor, it would provide no tangible benefit to anyone else. So with that in mind, I've decided to stick with a performance-based list that gauges ships and vehicles based purely on functionality within the verse. Lol, only kidding, screw that. Here's my top 10 ships in Star Citizen, motherfuckers. You can feel free to disagree and discuss in the comments, but I can already assure you, as Cardinal of St. Chris, my word is absolute and unquestionable. Roll the tape, Stephen. Okay, so already it looks like I've made categories and I'm pigeonholing ships into them to form some pathetic attempt at structure to this video. That's not entirely the case. I do love a bit of mining, and this isn't number 10 anyway, it's actually number 12. There we go. I literally had to do that as I was ripping myself in half trying to choose between certain ships. The reality is I needed 12 slots. Think of them like carefully packaged eggs. 12 opinions with such rich protein goodness inside, so fragile and crushed easily if challenged in the comment. Anyway, it's the mole. The answer's the mole. Why is it the mole, you ask? Well, have you seen it? And have you seen the competition? Oh, I'm already doing that thing.
Oh, would you look at that?
Fuck. The reason it's the mole, and this is the honest answer, is because it's more challenging. Yep. You can take on bigger rocks, the internal space is better for staying out in the field, you can solo and co-op with it, and it's got more storage so you can arguably make more money with it. I really wish to God it had a defensive turret, and you could remote pilot the mining arms, and I do love the Prospector for its staggering single-minded functionality, but I think it's pretty clear the real winner here is the Arastra, the mole. Definitely the mole. And also, look at those skins. What's the Prospector got? Nothing black enough to stop it offending your eyes in the blackness of space, that's for sure. Sorry, Prospector. Oh, he's continuing the pigeonhole trend. Can't wait to see where that leads when you try and cover your beloved Reliant Mako. Shut up, Stephen. Okay, so I expect pushback here, and that's fine, everybody's entitled to their opinion and blah blah blah, but the best medium cargo ship is the Caterpillar. Now, words. If I need to move as much cargo as possible in the game, I'm in a C2. If I need to move vehicles in the game, chances are I'm in a C2. The C2 is, for all intents and purposes, a far superior vessel, and I accept that, but look at her. She has no flourish, no pretentious curves, she's weird and janky and asymmetrical, with rubbish access, she's slow, so why did I pick her? I don't know, to be honest. I could maybe start waffling about the Drake aesthetic or something about pity, but that would be even more pretentious than that tiny little drawer on the C2 cockpit for a handgun. That, by the way, isn't there for self-defence, that's the suicide gun, for when the boarders are cutting through the bulkhead door. Fuck you, Crusader. I'd rather die in a seat, protecting the active self-destruct like a true Care Bear should. But yeah, I love the raw power of the C2, but the Caterpillar just feels right. She feels like she's that size. she's difficult and long and awkward to land at outposts, but overall it's because there's no BS. That shape is the exact shape 576 SU of cargo with an engine strapped to the back should be. There's a modesty in the design language that I can appreciate. And it's a swarm ship from StarCraft. So yeah, I'd advise you to buy a C2. But if you're like me and it's nuts out about flying a giant Minecraft wang around, then accept no substitute. I don't do racing, so I probably have very little right to even talk about it, but what I do a lot is fly this ship. In case you didn't know, this is the Razor. Normally I have the ALX because it's the fastest, or it was, I don't know what's going on anymore, but it doesn't matter to me because I can't tell the difference. They're all going far too fast, and fighting somebody in this thing is just hilarious. You're like a little annoying fly, just impossible to hit. And if they get too close, you're gone. Dust. It's absolutely outrageous. Until they have a turret gunner, that is. It can quantum jump, it fits into a lot of bigger ships, it's gotten some nice skins over the years. Yeah, if you haven't tried it, it's a lot of fun, and I highly recommend. So, when you start hitting the later stages of the bounty grind, you come across more and more meaty, well-protected ships. For that job, there's only one tool springs to mind. The Inferno. Big gun go brr, your ship go boom. Simple as that. The time it takes from the minute you drop into the location to the time it gets to the target should also be commended. Very fast in a straight line. It is a very efficient killer in the hands of a master pilot such as myself. And I mean, it's a giant Gatling gun with wings. Whoever thought this was a good idea at CIG, hats off to you. This thing is insane. Brings a tear to my eye, honestly. This could have easily been the Corsair in this spot, because it also does a great job in this role. Also, it can scoop up the odd bit salvage goods from the wrecks it piles up. But alas, I no longer have a Corsair. I did love it and it was cool and all, but I don't know. Just started not feeling it after a while. So A, I didn't have one to record footage with, and B, me and the Corsair aren't singing the same song anymore. It happens, plenty more fish in the sea. We didn't exactly part on the best of terms, long story, but if you see my Corsair lying around, it's all lies and it's just angry, and it will feel better once it finally stops texting me and moves on. Okay? Okay. Next up is everyone's favourite dropship. And yes, I mean everyone, that includes you. If someone comes up to me and says something like, I prefer such and such a dropship, all I hear are the words, I've not spent the prerequisite amount of time flying a Valkyrie to form a valid opinion about dropships. You need to stop selling death ships. You need to go home and rethink your life. You guys are so lucky, actually, that I didn't have a prowler for this video, I swear to God. Because I think at this point, you probably know I would have went there. Maybe. And it is pretty decent these days, I've heard, and so is the steel in fact. They've all had a buff and the flight model is a lot better for the Prowler. In fact, they both have exceptional armour in comparison with the Valkyrie, with the steel being way out in front. Although they do both suffer heavily from having bits shot off quite easily. But I mean, the Valk is just sublime on a whole other level. It's got 2 size 3 on the nose, a left and right remote turret with a size 3 on, an upper and lower man turret with 2 size 3s on each, and 2 man door turrets. We are on an express elevator to hell, going down. I mean, I do wish I had a massive payload of missiles or something as well, just to be greedy. Something to just spice it up a bit more than it already is. I do like to make sure the landing zone is glowing nice and warm before dropping off the troops. But if you ever need to deliver a bunch of people who can also man turrets en route, this is just the flying fortress that you're looking for. The F-8C Lightning. Bro straight up eventually folded and melted the LTI Corsair for the 6 months insurance F-8C with no skin. Stephen! You better not be telling them about the FHC. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Listen, carefully. 0 regrets. It's an absolute hooligan, and I love it. The Corsair, though. Listen, Stephen, we've been over this. She was too much shit for me, dude. I couldn't give her what she wants. I thought I could, Stephen, but I couldn't. Let's all just move on. Okay? Okay, let's move on. Hey Red, what's this Hornet F7A Mark II upgrade? Anyway, for small cargo I've went with the Raft. It has a few downsides. The cargo is external for a start, which may be good for any volatile cargo that comes along, but makes it pretty easy to loot without boarding. The tractor beam isn't implemented. It's still under 100 SCU as well, which is a bit on the low side, 96 it is to be exact, but aesthetically I find that it's very hard to beat. It's very well catered for on the inside, and it's got a turret as well if you've got a friend. I wouldn't say it's a very defensible ship though. The competition in this space is very, very steep. If money was no object and you needed a ship that could do cargo missions up to a certain size, you're pretty spoilt for choice. The Spirit has 64, the Corsair can do 72, the Freelancer Max is on 120 SCU, the Hull A is 64, the Andromeda is on 96, all of which are similarly excellent and capable ships. But again, it really just comes down to what I enjoy flying the most, and when you're flying into a landing zone and you flick out to third person for no apparent reason, other than to just check your ship looks as cool as you think it does, then you maybe flip down those VTOLs, my god, it's a thing of divine craftsmanship. An utter masterclass in function meets design. And it does fly like a brick. Like if you were in the C1, you could glide to objectives and actually enjoy a smooth, sleek experience. But a lot of the time I enjoy the cargo ship, too much inertia, easy to overshoot things, hard to slow down models as well. And I think that's what it is. I know I'm running cargo and I feel like that should be reflected more prominently in how I move. Probably why I love the cat as well. I'm pretty sure CIG intends to add the weight of your cargo into the flight model eventually, and that should be really, really fun. At least I think that's the case. I could have picked that up wrong though. Anyway, yeah, it's the Raft. I can tell my dream ship is going to be the Ironclad. Hands down. Okay, so Stephen doesn't agree with me here, hence the title. We don't agree on a lot of things these days. Get back under the bed, Stephen. You filthy But that actually should have said salvaging, and I've gone for the Reclaimer. Now Stephen thinks, well, he thinks a lot of things about the Reclaimer, and none of them are good. And to a certain extent, he's right. The cargo situation for one is absolutely dire. The munching arm broke him a little bit, I think, and it just seems that since it released, there's always been something underwhelming about the whole experience. Whereas the Vulture just does its job and looks damn fine doing it as well. And I agree on all of that, but, I mean, come on. Are you really going to make me say it? Like, look at it this way. If I was ever to bring a friend into this game, which will never happen because they look at Stephen funny when he talks, and I really just wanted to blow them completely away, I would knock them out and transport their body into the engine room of this ship, then I'd kill the power and stick on the emergency lights, and fill the place with copions and leave them with a knife. I mean, it's literally the Nostromo waiting to happen. When they finally made it to the bridge, I'd be sitting there naked, wrapped in cling foam. And that would be it. Boom, another referral code banked. If that, for some improbable reason, didn't work, well then, yeah, I'd probably just show them how to fly the ship and maybe do some salvage in an asteroid belt. But like, that's a Stephen idea, so boring. Huh? What happened? Stephen! What was on that rag you made me sniff? Never mind. What number are we on? 3? Oh, this is a good one. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty now. The last 3. In third place we have the Eclipse. And obviously we're all into subjective territory, if that for some reason wasn't already blatant, but I think this one gets a lot of people stimulated. Like, even the fact that the view from the cockpit is so obscured actually somehow adds to the awesome vibe this thing projects. The way the cockpit moves when entering, the buttons overhead on the ceiling, the general shape of the craft. And to top it off, it's actually a pretty decent and fast fighter. And to double top it off, it's got that rather terminal ace up its sleeve. Now, I missed the best in show white and gold paint for this ship, and I still weep about it most nights into my cutty red plushie. So that means that I actually hate this ship now, and I don't use it ever. But one day, CIG will see this and become racked with emotion so great, they will slide it into my hangar on the condition I never speak badly of Cloud Imperium Games and their subsidiaries ever again. Sell out! Shut up, Stephen! But yeah, if there ever was a shape to darken your sky, it's probably best that it's an eclipse. At least that way, you know it's about to be quick and painless. I don't know when the 600i was released. I mean, I could Google it, but that might disrupt my made up narrative here, so at some point, CIG realised, hey, you know what, we could probably make a fair bit of money by selling ships. What do you guys think? Thus, the 600i was born. And my god, I bet this thing was flying out the door. The amount of poor constellations getting melted must have been a war crime. And it's hard to argue because it genuinely is something to behold. Stunning both inside and out, and functional as well. Bringing 3 size 5 bad boys to the table, 2 remote turrets and a hefty barrage of missiles. As well as having some cargo space or room for a vehicle, and again, the weight of this absolute behemoth is very satisfying. Satisfying? I love it. Satisfying. And again, the weight of this absolute behemoth is very satisfying to fly. It's not great for trying to shoot things, but excellent for tanking a lot of damage. And my god, the skins are devious. Even the default. It's hard to not become enamoured with the Explorer. No matter what you're doing, it just sits there looking damn fabulous. There is one ship in this game that's so iconic it's integrated into the very fabric of any favourite ship list. That ship is the Constellation. Now let's get serious for a minute. This is probably the real winner of this list. If I was to do things the other way, where I provided a list based purely on merit, this ship would win, hands down. And I include all of its variants in that as well. They all have strengths and weaknesses, sure, but fundamentally they can all perform outstandingly under a variety of circumstances. It handles amazing for its size, even though it's got that fat ass that I love so much. It's really well defended, and it's got an amazing set of teeth for when the need arises. Add to that its cargo capacity, and it just can't be beat. It's the ultimate f*** you ship. The don't touch my ship. The don't make me deploy my fighter man or you'll feel the blast of my instantaneous and predictable bug related detonation. This is the real winner here, in your opinion. And I would have to agree, except that I don't. It's definitely the ultimate bounty salvage ship though. And with even a rented one of these, you could stack enough paper to have old man Hurston cleaning your space boots for decades. And here we come to it, the real number 1 in this list. The ship I love more than any other ship in the game. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the epitome of seductive speed, where beauty meets sleek precision. A marvel of luxury and comfort, fiercely powerful and ready to defend its own. the one and only Origin 325A. Now, just hold on there before you set your Cheeto fingers a flapping on your little keyboards. Let's not pretend I've misled you into thinking this list had any integrity whatsoever. Let me just make the case, and I think you'll agree. Take a ship that's as good in combat as an Avenger Titan, take away the look of a cat about to hawk up a furball or something, add some nice lines and attractive paints, add an interior. Any interior would have done really, but in this case we get sheer class and comfort. No expense spared. Add to that a level of customization that would ensnare the vanity of even the slightest of narcissists. And what you get is a ship that would maybe make it about halfway up this list of the best ships in the game. But take that and dip it in a big warm vat of first ship I upgraded to after the Aurora nostalgia, and you get the best ship that mankind has ever or will ever create again. This ship is just my own personal bubble in the harsh world of Star Citizen. My birthing pod. My friend. We've been through thick and thin. I was a mere outcast lying on the litter tray of the cosmos, and it picked me up, warmed me, and served me champagne in a crystal glass and the legs of some endangered species. Either way, there's no room for negotiation. Thank you for coming to my Red Talk. However, there is another. You didn't honestly think that we'd go out on such a whimper. Ever since I seen it on the show floor of Invictus one year, there's been only one ship that's ever held my steely gaze and beat me in a staring contest. That ship is the Aegis Retaliator bomber. And yes, that was before it even became modular and offered even more impressive functionality. Some people would say it's a coward's hit and run camper van home thing. And to that I say, shh, you don't even know I'm here. So who are you talking to? I've removed all my shields, one power plant and a cooler. I'm here to take you to the rapture, brother. Painless and silent as the night. Shh, shh, shh. On top of that, it has five turrets. 5 size 2 shields. Wait, is that right? Oh my god, that's preposterous. And it has the fattest ass in the game. You want to turn this thing? You better get out and start relaying some tracks, cause it's not happening for the next few kilometres or so. Unless you apply a liberal dose of boost, then yeah, it works great. And since it has no pilot guns, you can just keep all your pips in boost anyway. It's almost impossible to bring down. And pretty soon, it will have medical facilities and tea rooms, it can carry cargo or nuclear warheads. I mean, for the trade-off of not actually being able to steer the thing, I think that's a really good deal. Plus, it looks the absolute business, and it's got foldy bits in all the right places. There's nothing else to say. By all means, you can feel free to tell me why I'm wrong in the comments below, and I'll respect your words. But secretly I'm thinking, idiot. Unless you become a member, then I'll be like, double idiot. Who would encourage this low-level garbage content creation? Maybe I'm really just a giant man-child who likes spaceships and can't shut up about them. Not a word, Stephen. Not a word. If you liked this video, then please like this video and possibly subscribe. In fact, what you should do is share it. Yeah, share it and be like, ha ha ha, laughing tears emoji. This guy's been waiting so long on Star Citizen, he's had some sort of mental breakdown. Yeah, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. hopefully I'll see you again sometime. 07 motherfuckers.